Hi, my name is Noel Davis with Vermiculture, and I'm going to show you how to grind some eggshells, and this is the start of making a new bin for me. I showed you a couple weeks ago on how to empty a bin, and what I'm doing now is creating a new one. So this is one of the first steps. I get eggshells ready. So I have eggshells here, I'm going to show you here, that are hard-boiled eggs, and these are the shells that are left over. So I have a whole bunch of eggshells here, and I'm going to just put them here. This is a Magic Bullet blender, and what I want to do is I want to create a fine powder. And the reason for this is it's a lot easier for the worms to, I don't want to say digest it, but they break down a little better when they're a fine powder. So I make a lot of hard-boiled eggs, and what I do is when I peel them, I keep the shells. This way the shells are clean and they're sterilized as well. If you want to use eggs that you're going to let's say you make a lot of eggs over easy or scrambled eggs and you want to use those, I think that's okay, but you might want to just boil the eggshells just for a few minutes just to try to kill any germs on them. I know some people that put them in the oven. I don't typically do that because I don't want to turn on my oven, wait for it to heat up and everything. I'd rather turn on a pot of water or something, or nuke some water. So I've got them here in my Magic Bullet. I've got it hooked up ready to go. And we're just going to pulverize some eggshells here. Now, if you notice, there's a little bit of dust in here. Now, I've been reading online, they say that is actually really bad to breathe in. I don't know if that's true or not, so I would be more cautious, and I try to keep it all contained in here and wait for it to calm down. Now, this stuff is also apparently very abrasive on blenders and stuff, so I wouldn't use an expensive blender to do this. This is something that over the years has sort of broken down and isn't working as well as it used to, and I find this to be good for these type of projects. There we go. We've got a nice fine powder in here. Still broken out. It still could go a little bit finer probably. I'd rather have it as dust-like as possible, so that way when I spread it over the bin and get it a little bit wet, it's not going to cause any, it's going to be able to easily be ingested by the worms as a grit. So alright, I think that's pretty good. That's nice and fine, the powder in here. There's still some big shells in here. But you know, this will work nicely for this. So as you can tell, let's see if it'll focus here. It's a lot of grit in there, but we'll see. I think this will be good for them. When I start making a new bin, I'm going to add this material to it, and we'll see how well this works. Hopefully this is a good size material, and then you can help their gizzard that they use to digest their food, which is typically, it's how they grind it up. So this is what the purpose of this is. So hope you enjoyed. This is just a quick video on how to make this and how I do it, and I'll show you in another video on how I add this to a brand new worm bin as a version of grit before I add the worms. Thank you. Bye. Alright, so here's a follow-up of how this stuff looks. It's very, very fine. It kind of sticks to your finger. There's some chunks in here, but it's not too bad. Now, the reason why I do this, I never really mentioned this, but I grind it up because if you don't grind it up, what happens is when the worms get in there and everything, and they like eggshells, so I mean, they really do. They like eggshells, but the shell isn't gone. It's still there, and I've pulled out full shells that have sat in a bin for a year, and they don't break down anymore. They kind of come a little bit soft, and they're very brittle, but they're not gone. And this type of stuff tends to disappear into the bin, and it's a good source of calcium for their eggs, and it really is good for them from what I've read. So this is why I do this, and this is why I add it to new bins, is because typically I'm trying to build up a population. I want the best bin I can have for building that population back up, and that's why I add things such as this eggshell, and I'll show you, I also add burlap and some other things. And in my next video, I will show you how to make a new worm bin out of a 10-gallon tote. Thank you.